Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me once again to discuss all things in the wonderful world of Tottenham Hotspur, it's my partner in crime, it's Matt.
Sam, are you starting to believe?
No. And that's our show. Thank you everybody. Yeah. It's a nightmare, isn't it, this bloody club? Oh, what are you doing to me? You're like, a few weeks ago I was done. You're dead to me. I got nothing. You up and down all the time. You're driving me insane. And then we go 1-0 down against Newcastle at home, and I'm thinking, oh, Tottenham, stop being Tottenham for just 5 minutes. Stop being you. And then we come back and smash them 5-1.
Destroyed them.
And I'm like, ooh, I can feel it. But like, don't get carried away, Sam. Don't get carried away. It's, the other teams are in great form, and
but are they?
You don't want to think. And then I look and I see Crystal Palace demolish Arsenal 3-0, and I'm like, ooh, it's the hope that kills you. It is bananas this season. It really is, but I think a lot of that we can attribute to still a COVID hangover, perhaps. But it's a season where we have swapped managers. So it is always going to be a odd season because, let's face it, I think you couldn't probably get more chalk and cheese between Nuno and Antonio Conte.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the emotion on the sidelines.
Oh my word! I mean, you
got a lip licker and someone who literally just goes absolutely bananas.
Was it you who said it, or was it someone said it to
me.
us?
It used to irritate me because I used to try to really defend him, and it's like, for God's sake, just stop picking on him with every single minor thing that you see.
And then you see it and you can't unsee it. Yeah. It's like the jackass who's got me watching every throw-in now. Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Oh, Sam, let it go. Let it go.
No, I can't, because the problem is, just as I start to relax, some idiot did a foul throw the other day, and I'm like, that's it. Now I need to know why he's doing that. Oh, dear. My brain works in mysterious ways. But yeah, we are going to open the podcast talking about Tottenham Hotspur 5, Newcastle United 1. If there's a team that deserves to be smashed around, it's them. Very, very happy to do it. I know, and off air on the podcast last week, you weren't feeling well, which everyone knew. We said that on the show. But what people we didn't know is you were planning to run the Paris Marathon.
Yes.
Which meant, of course, that you were unable to attend the Tottenham game of Tottenham 5, Newcastle 1. Yeah, I'm going to do this to you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I said to you, it'd be bloody sod's law. We'll give him a right hiding. Yeah. And we both had a really good laugh.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
No, I know, but it was like, oh yeah, wouldn't that be funny? So I'm curious, mate, as the 5th goal went in and you saw that stand erupt into pure ecstasy, was there a part of you sitting on your sofa watching it thinking, bastards?
Oh, do you know what? I'll be completely honest. As a season ticket holder, I get to go to so many games that, look, don't get me wrong, I would love to have been there. I'm not trying to deny that I would love to have been there, but it's not like that was my one ticket for the season. You know? I've seen some cracking games. So
yeah, you're a good man. I'd have hated everyone in that stand with a petty vengeance.
Do you know what? It's funny because yeah, if you'd give me the choice, I would have been in the stadium. But at the same time, it's good. I know it's great being it's better being there. That's my opinion. It's better being in the stadium. But watching it on television, you do get to see things that you don't get to see live. Like, for example, watching Conte go mad, which I love. Because you're jumping up and you're looking at the screen and you can see him running at his coaching staff and stuff. And I just me and Seb watched it indoors on television. Yeah. And Layla, this is one reason why. Another reason why I wish I was at the stadium as well is Layla's sitting on my lap, and I'm like, Layla, me and Seb are watching the football now, so you best just go to your bedroom. Do you know, just go somewhere away from where we are, yeah? Refusing to. So obviously because it's one of those things, isn't it? You could be playing, we could be playing Leyton Orient, for example. If Leyton Orient are 1-0 up, actually, that's a good example. Do you remember in the FA Cup game that we played? There was that team in League Two or League One, and they were 1-0 up. When you score to equalise, when you're losing to a team that you should really be beating,
there is serious relief.
There's serious uproar and shouting, and she still thinks, even though I've taken to her game, I think I took her to the Brentford game, one of the games I took her to this season. She still thinks that we're shouting at her every time. It's like, Layla, it's not towards you, and it's happy aggression, right? But I guess to her, me and now Seb's proper involved. It is just a roaring. Do you know what I mean? And we're both used to being at the stadium now, so you know that's that massive cheer that comes up.
Now, but you make sure you're not mean to poor lady. She's my favourite artist.
Oh yeah, bless her.
Yes, above my desk here, as I record Spurs News podcast, is a Layla official portrait that she did for me for Tottenham, and it is pride of place, my friend.
She loves her drawing. But yeah, I think after about the third goal went in, I think she gave up and then went upstairs because she was getting too upset with it. But Layla, go upstairs. Yeah. We're not going to stop cheering every time we score.
We have a compromise here. Go away.
You're not going to stop us.
It's funny because it's like when she gets older, if you try and sell her that she did that, she'll be like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I bet.
My memory of that is you two just shouting at me all the time. It's like, no. So I grew up, my dad and my brother used to just shout at me for sitting with them. That's not true.
The football context when we put into it.
No, that's just it. That's the memory. She goes into school Monday. My dad shouts at me at the weekend. Well, what did he shout at me about? Something about get in there, you bastard. I don't know what that means.
Do you know what? Though? I don't know if my memory serves right, but have you seen that funny video, that guy that he's sitting with his mates and the cushion just explodes and he just flies up in the air and that's it's bizarre. He's just sitting there. I'll have to send it to you. We're off it, but. I seem to remember what the second goal was. He went in.
You just erupted.
Sitting in the cushion, and I'm like, did I actually send her over there? Or
no! It's like, I have no idea of my surroundings right now. Yeah,
you just lose it.
I tell you the one that I proper lost it on was the third goal. I think going 2-1 up was great, but I always have that.
The nerves.
Don't take your foot off. Yeah. You know, Tottenham have got that. Damn, we're 1-0 down. We're 2-1 up. Brilliant. Now let's coast. No. And when we got the third, which was a great goal by the way, that was back to front, played through them, and Sonny, cool, bang, put it away. That was the one. That was the one that proper got me.
do you know what I love? I know. Obviously, it's not a coincidence because Pochettino used to play a similar. A formation, but I love how the wing backs now are, like, I remember Danny Rose running in and smashing it in, and same with Kyle Walker. Now we're seeing our guys do it now.
Well, what's interesting is like the difference between Pochettino's setup and Conte is Pochettino asked a hell of a lot because they were fullbacks, not wing backs, and he expected them, Walker and Rose, to basically act like wing backs but defend like fullbacks, and there is a big difference. There really is. You look at Ben Davies and how he's playing as a left-sided central defender right now. That's he's a fullback, really. A defender. You want Ben Davies to be the overlapping attacking force of like a winger. It just doesn't happen. He can come forward and be an extra man to try and overload, but he's not he's not that guy. Sessegnon, for example, really has all the qualities of a good, tricky English winger, but doesn't quite have that fullback ability. But as a wing back, I think we really have got a player there if he can stay fit. Great interview with Reguilon as well, talking about the adjustment from fullback to wingback. But yeah, seeing Conte, me and you talked a lot about it, about the fact that under Nuno, it was like we can't see what they're trying to do. It's like this was the problem for me, is when we were watching it, like if your results are bad, but you can see a pattern emerging, you're like, okay, we're not doing it right now, but at least I can see the evolution. I know where this team are trying to go. And when it clicks, I think we'll be okay. that happened with Pochettino at the beginning. I think a lot of fans looked at him and the results aren't good, but I can really see this system, and with the players we got, this could work, and it did. Conte came in and straight away you could see things started to change. We're now seeing, I don't know how many months he's been in charge.
November he joined, so what we're looking at is about 5 months, isn't it?
Yeah. It's his team now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can really see that it's his team now, because every player who is playing is completely buying into it, and the best evidence of that is what you said, is the wing backs, because they are now arriving at the back post constantly, and it doesn't matter who's on the pitch or whether they're playing on the left side or the right side. They know exactly what's expected of them. And we watched a game against Newcastle where we scored 5 goals. Kane didn't score. Which,
and there's 5 separate goal scorers.
I know. I can't.
What would you got on
think
that?
Of a no. I know. I can't think of a time where that's happened in recent memory. But not only was it 5 different goal scorers, the wing backs both scored. I mean, if you looked at that on the start of the team sheet 5 months ago, you got Royale at right wing back and you got Doherty at left wing back. Pretty much every single one of us would be going, what a day this is going to be.
I know, you're so right.
The odds of them two both scoring and having pretty decent games offensively and defensively would have been through the roof. I think if I'd gone to a bookies with that bet, I want both of them to score, Tottenham to score 5, I'll let them have 1. The gamblers we've got, look mate, keep your money.
I'm not gonna rob you.
We're not even going to create odds for that. That's ridiculous.
Silly.
Go
Stop
away,
being silly. Go away.
Yeah, go away. All right, fine. You want to put a quid on? We'll give you $1 million. Oh damn! It just would have been exponential. And us as fans, no one would have created that bet because no one would have believed it. I don't think Doherty or Royale would have believed it. And yet here we are with both of them. When it gets to a point where they've created these overlaps, they are actually becoming real attacking threats.
Yeah.
Kane's dropping deep. They are attacking the post. They are literally launching themselves into the box for defending. That must be a nightmare. You're okay. I picked up Sonny. I've got Kulusevski's there. I know where Kane is. Where the bloody old Matt Doherty come from?
do you know what is so true? And that Matt Doherty goal. And I know you talk about Kane as well. I mean, Jesus, Kane's passing ability is scary. I mean, he looks up. You see Doherty coming in, arms up to me, and he gets it on his head on a sixpence, doesn't he? It is insane.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I stand by the statement that if Harry Kane could be on the end of Harry Kane passes, he'd score twice as much as he does every season. He his footballing ability is so funny because I watched him as a young player and he always struck me as a 10, like a dropping deep Teddy Sheringham. He didn't strike me as Alan Shearer's going to score us 300 goals. He struck me as a guy who's going to pick up 10 goals, 10 assists in a season, and we'd all just be freaking ecstatic. Do you know what I mean? Because he had that in his locker, and then when he came through, he was just barreling them in, and the guy took on shots from everywhere. And he just came onto the scene. Kane got the ball. Kane was going to shoot. Kane was going to barrel in on goal. And it's almost like he's naturally getting older. Okay, I can't quite burst past someone because of my ankle now. All right, so I'm going to control the ball and pick someone out. I'm going to revert back to that. And it's possibly a confidence thing as well. You come through and you just want to... I'm a striker, I need to score. And now he's like, I'm Harry Kane, I'm England captain, I'm the man, I'm going to play it my way.
Yeah, sure.
And it's something to behold. When you see him pick the ball up on a halfway line, I remember a long time ago thinking to myself, it is such a waste because the rest of the team aren't in tune with it. Which basically means that when Kane's dropped that deep, it's not, we're kind of stuck. Now, and again, this is definitely coaching. If Kane picks that ball up, our wing backs are running.
Yeah.
Sonny is going full pelt and Kulusevski's finding space. Here's a side note. How intelligent a footballer is that kid?
Who, Kulusevski?
Kulusevski, yeah.
Really, yeah.
I watch strange things when I'm watching games sometimes, and when people point stuff out to me, like I've joked about the throw-ins, I can't get it out of my head. And someone said to me, the two players who came in, he said, watch how hard they work to always be available to get the ball. And I thought, okay, all right, well, next time I'm watching, I'll see what they mean. Bentancur, for example, everything's a simple pass. Everything is all about it, which very Harry Winks, by the way, but just does it at another level.
He looks to
really
go forward all the time, Bentancur.
Every single time. And the thing about him, which just staggered me in this game, is every time he touches the ball, he moves straight away to receive it again. It's like, and he's looking. So if he passes the ball, he's straight away looking for another pass whilst moving. Anyone who just enjoys silly things like this, next time you watch Tottenham play, watch him do this. It is constant. It is perpetual motion. And it must be a joy for players around him, like Højbjerg and others. And if you're a defender and you're on the ball and you're being closed down, it must be wonderful to know you have that release again. The only thing I can liken that to is when we had Dembele in the Pochettino team, which is every defender used to be like, oh, give it to him. It's fine. The ball is now safe.
Yeah, sure.
We are good. Bentancur is a lot like that. He just picks the ball and it just moves and moves. And they showed us, someone did like a little highlight video of his time with us already. And they showed the amount of times that he personally is the transition from defence to attack. And it's not him bringing the ball forward. It's normally a combination of like 3 or 4 passes. But he takes it from the back 4 and he works the ball via other people up the pitch.
Sure.
Kulusevski, from what I'm talking about, an intelligent football player, he is just finding space all of the time. And with a guy like Harry Kane, it just must be a joy to play with him, because he is literally finding space out wide, and then he does the underlap thing as well, which is what he does brilliantly. So what I mean by that is everyone knows what an overlap is. So, you get the ball and a guy goes running past you and you overlap. You've got him on the inside. The underlap thing is basically the reverse of that. So you've got a defender who's trying to hold his line because he doesn't want someone to get around him, and you come in on the inside. So when you've got wing backs, Kulusevski is using his intelligence, which basically means, okay, I know that Royale or Doherty or whoever's my wing back with me is going to go bombing past me now Kane's on the ball. So if he does that and the fullback's got to watch him, I'll go that way. And that way, the Kane can pick Doherty. If the defender comes with me, Doherty's there. If the defender goes with Doherty, I'm here. But the thing that I mark him out as intelligent is he's watching the game constantly, because obviously sometimes people will double up. He just stops. He stands still, which doesn't sound like an impressive thing, but everyone's sprinting here, there and everywhere, and he just stops, and all of a sudden that creates the space. He literally just stops. They all run off, and he just gets the ball.
Yeah.
It is something. It is really fun to watch.
Do you think that's his intelligence, or do you think that's something that's Conte's coached?
I don't. Well, it's a difficult thing. I think it's him. I think that's him and his natural ability in the game to read what's going on. I think from a coaching standpoint, you're definitely going to have a stamp on him and how the team needs to play. But I mean, he's only worked with Conte since January. February really, because he joined right at the end. So I don't imagine he's had that much of an impact on his individual game. I can't speak to it because I haven't watched him a great deal when he was at Juventus. Truthfully, when these two players came in, I knew very little about them, other than the fact they were at Juventus, and I read various articles on what they'd done, pros and cons, if you like. But since they've come in, all I've seen is pros, really.
Was it you that sent that stat across about the fact that he's scored more goals and created more assists than Ndombele and Lo Celso did in the 2.5 years that were Spurs?
Yeah. It wasn't me, but I have seen it. I mean that's a frightening.
It really is, isn't it?
Thing. I mean, it's true. And see, here's the thing as well. Is like some players work at clubs and some don't. And what I say by that is, if anyone watches the Champions League and watched Giovanni Lo Celso play for Villarreal yesterday, you would not believe that's the same guy you've seen in a Tottenham shirt. One journalist said, Lo Celso has been everything good about this performance, both in defence and attack. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, no, you silly. Does he have a brother? Who the hell are you on about? I ain't him. And then I watched the highlights and I'm like, damn, that was kind of impressive. Different systems, different managers, different environments.
Yeah.
The guy clearly thrives in Spanish football and in that environment.
Like Brian Gill.
Yeah, that kid at Valencia is just, he looks like imperious. He just looks everything. He looks $1 million, it's ridiculous. It's the signings. I can be critical, we can be critical, everyone can about signings and how they adapt and how they do, and it is not an exact science. You can get every box ticked, the player wants it, you want it, everyone can be on board, and it just doesn't work. I think there are some that I think the difference between clubs, the super clubs if you like, and the clubs that are fighting to become the super clubs, is the super clubs financially can go, oh well, alright, yeah, you go then, we'll get another one. Whereas we got to go, oh, we spent 60 million on you, please be good.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, oh, come on, we're going to give you another year, alright? Just settle and be good. Chelsea have bombed that guy out.
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea used to, anyway.
With that money.
I'm still smiling about that, as I read an article yesterday all about how their new owners all coming in have all got to make these promises about investment in things, but all of them, every one of their new owners said the club supporters have to understand that any ownership is done on an investment basis and not a plaything of a billionaire
to launder some of the old rubles.
Awful. They I got a feeling, I don't know about you, but I got a feeling those bastards are still going to come out smelling a rose.
Oh, they will. You know what they're like. They will. To be fair, though, I mean, I know it's very, very short-term pleasure at the moment, but 7 goals now they've conceded in the last 2 games at home.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it, Sam.
How much did you enjoy Ericsson scoring against them?
He loves scoring at Stamford Bridge, doesn't he? Do you remember that goal? Was it the game when we beat him? I think we beat him 3-1 or something. I think Delhi scored a couple of goals back when Delhi played football, and
I remember him,
he used to play football once, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
You know, and Ericsson scored that goal. Do you remember when it looked like it was going to fly over the
is that the one where
crossbar?
The keeper clearly thought at the last minute it was going over? It just went just in.
It was like a beach ball. It just kind of dipped randomly. It was incredible goal. Harry did that. Harry had the technique to get that ball to dip right in. It was insane. Peak Ericsson. That was peak Ericsson, wasn't it?
Ridiculously good player. So much love from the football world now as well. That moment, the Norwich players are ready to fight whoever the hell's tackled him, then seizes him and gives him a hug. It's just one of those moments that's going to live with me. Just beautiful. It makes me laugh. It's like, oh, you dragged me down, you son of a Christian! I had no idea. Oh, stay safe, buddy.
That was.
And Ericsson gets up laughing, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, come on, what am I allowed just to boot anybody now?
He's literally going to get away with anything.
You get this image of him like hacking someone down, looking at the ref, and ref going, right, that's it. Oh, hey, Chris, are you feeling all right? That was out of character. Maybe just a yellow for you. You make sure you keep your heart rate down. He must be like, what the hell?
You know that if he gets into a fight with a couple of Ukrainian people are still going to love Ericsson more.
He could lamp that Ukrainian at West Ham and people would still be like, it was justified. It was fine. Yeah, that's when you know you're at a level, doesn't it?
Do you know? Talking about former players as well. I watched the Everton Burnley game. God, they're struggling, aren't they? Everton. Yes, when they went 2-1 up, I was thinking, wow, they get this win, and that's them kind of out of the water.
They are in deep shit.
They really are. But seeing Aaron Lennon playing still.
What the Aaron Lennon beating a man still makes me smile.
How old is Aaron Lennon now? Because I thought, like, I haven't Googled it or anything, but
Right.
I seem to remember it being a long time ago that he used to play for us. A long time
Well,
ago.
to be honest with you, man, it is. I mean, it's 6, 7 years.
What, since he left us?
Aaron Lennon turns 35 in 2 weeks' time.
Because I thought he'd have been older than that.
No.
Do you remember that? Was it?
He joined us at a very young
He
age.
must have done, because wasn't it him that? Do you remember that time when we beat West Ham?
Yeah.
Like, was he playing in? You know when?
I mean, he joined us in 2005. He left us 10 years later, 2015.
2005. Do you remember that game when Stalteri scored that last minute winner?
Yeah.
He was playing him, wasn't he? Because I remember him. Was it him that crossed into?
Do you know what? I honestly can't remember. My major thing with Lennon was he was always exciting to play.
Yes.
But the goal that always sticks in my mind is at AC Milan, him and Crouchy going through.
Oh.
And he beats the guy and squares it.
That's right.
And, right, Peter Crouch, footballing icon in a lot of ways for everything. But the guy, when he ran, looked like a gazelle on stilts. And none of this is here. And I don't mean to be rude or horrible. But when that ball came across to him, I just saw him air kicking. And I remember to this day that feeling like it took an hour for the ball to get to him. As my mind raced of all the ways he's about to completely miskick this or something. But in the rational part of my brain, Crouchy always had ridiculously good technique.
He did,
genuinely, he did.
Yeah.
The whole good feet for a big man was invented for him, and so rationally, I had no reason to think that. But I just watched Lennon tear the AC Milan defence a new asshole.
Yeah.
And Crouch is the man, and he squares it to, and I'm like, it's like I held my breath forever, and then he scored. I mean, that was what a night that was. That was something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lennon always. But yeah, Everton, man. Because I always look at Everton and kind of feel like we have a lot in common with Everton.
Thankfully, not when it comes to points.
I know, yeah, isn't that the truth? But as clubs, we've both got noisy neighbours that tend to win more trophies than us, that we're red. We're both aspiring to kick on. We've both had glory times which are sadly behind us, but we want them again. We've just developed a stadium. They're building a new stadium. Our owners, signed a lot of players to try and get us up to that level. Their owners have signed a lot of players, put a lot of money into trying. There is a certain kind of, camaraderie with Everton where we're like, wow, you guys can be more Tottenham than Tottenham at times.
Yeah.
And they feel the same way about us. And yeah, so I've never had a bad feeling towards Everton, if that makes sense. You play them and everything. They're not a club that I have any kind of anger towards. There's a lot of clubs I have anger towards. Not Everton.
Most of them in London.
Most of them are in London, yeah. 1 or 2 in Bristol. But yeah, just London. So it's weird for me. Like, Everton are a Premier League mainstay. So they have been in the league since the league was incepted in 94.
One of 6 teams that have been...
Yeah, one of only 6 teams. And for the idea that they could go down, to me, in the way football is now and the investment they've got with the stadium being built, the owners, their squad, when you look at it, is bigger than when Leeds went down, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because it is just staggering that this could happen. And that result last night, it is now looking really likely. Like, I looked at the run-ins between the two teams, and it's a fight between Burnley and Everton. Everton have got a game in hand, but that game in hand's against Chelsea, I think. Well, they play Man United, but the game in hand, I think, is Chelsea.
Jesus.
Their running's bad. Their running is really, really rough. And I look at Burnley's. I mean, other than the game against us, because we're going to give them a right hiding after that 1-0 win. I'm telling you, I want vengeance. I want blood.
Literally.
Literally. I've been on the word to Cuti Romero, who's basically lining them all up. He's speaking of Cuti Romero, and I know I get sidetracked, and apologies, but you see that day he hacked down Richarlison and posted it on his Instagram. Yeah. So Tottenham have obviously decided that they're going to send a few of their players to do community projects, and they sent Cuti Romero to play football with a load of young kids at Tottenham. And there's a picture of him, and there's this kid like with the ball and Cuti laughing. It's a lovely picture, and obviously he's having a good day. And so someone captioned it, Cuti Romero, picture taken moments before this kid tried to dribble past him and he hacked him to the ground. Evidence can be seen on his Instagram as he stands over the body. It's like, yes, brilliant, love it. But yeah, going back to Everton, man, the idea of Everton going down is a crazy one.
Mental.
And when you look at their squad, and this is a horrible thing to say, but I'm going to say it, it is going to be a feeding frenzy.
Oh, completely. We'll have we have Pickford for a start.
Well, it's going to be a feeding frenzy. But you look at it and you just think about it and just go, there is no way Pickford, Calvert-Lewin and Dele and others could possibly remain if they want to play for England at the World Cup.
Yeah.
So the day they go down, those players' agents are going to have to do that horrible thing of, sorry guys, I don't want, I know the club's having a bad time, but my client can't be here next season. You need to set a fee and we need to agree it, and they need to find a new club. And they are not going to be short of takers. Like, there will not be... Pickford, for example, with a better defence in front of him, is a bloody good goalkeeper. Yeah. Distribution is better than a lot, and just generally he's a very good keeper. You are not going to struggle to find homes for these players. And someone said quite interestingly on Twitter yesterday, I think it was Paul O'Keefe, for those who follow Twitter, he said, because of the size and the stature of the club, the vast majority of the players there won't have relegation release clauses.
Of course, because it wouldn't even occur to them to put them in, would it?
No. So you are looking at a situation where that club... but those players will be demanding moves, and the clubs will be demanding the monies for them. But yeah, it's going to be... I mean, that... Yeah, there's part of me that still thinks it won't happen. There's part of me that still thinks that despite that result, that they've still got enough about them, but their form is awful.
It's terrible. But do you know, you were talking about the players there as well, and you mentioned Dele. I saw a couple of days ago Simon Jordan really lay into the club and him really for signing him, saying that wasn't the play you need to sign if you're. I mean, at the time, I guess they weren't in a relegation battle that they're in now. I don't think they would have foreseen they would have been where they were now. But he's not even started a game, has he? He's not even started a game for them. He's not even been on the team sheet since he signed.
They're struggling to beat Burnley, and he's still sat on the bench.
What?
There is a defender being played in midfield ahead of him.
What do you think it is? Like,
no idea.
Because I know, I feel like we can talk about him. I know he's not a Tottenham player anymore, but he was a Tottenham player for a long, long time with us. So I still feel that affiliation,
There is clearly a mental capacity missing, because coaches bring these players in, and Frank Lampard would have seen his form for Tottenham, would have seen all of that, and he wanted him. And Lampard, probably in his brain, thought to himself, there's a player there, I can put my arm around him and I can sort this out. This kid's going to be great again. He's going to arrive like I used to in the box. And I said here on the podcast, if Lampard can get him playing in that way, then we're going to see the absolute best of Dele, and you're going to see the best, Everton could do really well out of this signing. And, good luck to them all. But the fact that he ain't even playing suggests that there's a problem. There must be an issue that in training, coaches are seeing that we as fans don't see.
Yeah.
Whether that's just he rocks up, kicks the ball about a bit half-hearted and leaves.
Yeah, but you joke about that. What is it they're seeing? Because, this kid, he's like, I call him, he's a kid. He's still 20. He's 25 to us. He's a kid still, isn't he? Yeah. It's different if he was like 30, 31, 32, yeah, you can understand that. He's coming to the end of his career, he's slowing down, everything's slowing down, his mind's elsewhere. No. But he should be peak. Now, you look at Kane, like you say, Kane's 28. Kane is he's real uber peak at the moment, but Dele should be coming into peak now, shouldn't he? And I shared that, I remember I shared that article, and I think I even mentioned it on the podcast a few weeks ago, where I think it was 2018, where you looked at all the different factors, age, what they're doing, that he was ranked second in the world below, I think it was Mbappe at the time, It might have been
it was
valued at like 198 million. According to this study and this looking at all the different factors. Second rated in the world, and now. I honestly would he even start for a championship team at the moment? I don't understand what's happened to him.
No.
He's just completely crashed and bombed, isn't he?
Yeah, well, here's the odd thing. I mean, if Everton go down, does he stay? I mean, what?
But what Premier League club would want him, Sam?
Well, to be honest with you, when Everton signed him, we as fans were like, it's a lot of nostalgia. We hurt that he was leaving because we felt the love for him and we have all the memories and everything that's happened and we felt an affection for him. But we all, I think, to a person went, it's the right time.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's definitely right for all of us. I just feel sadness, really. I feel kind of, I wish I could turn around and say, here's the reason. But I imagine a lot of people feel that way. Possibly even Dele himself.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you what's happened. It feels like there's something mental. It's a mental thing. And sometimes players never get that back. I remember, what's the guy's name who at Liverpool was incredible and Chelsea signed him for like 50
Torres.
Yeah. I watched that guy play for Liverpool and he was probably, at that point, the best striker on the planet.
Yes.
He was something else.
Yes.
He just beat people. His pace, his finishing, everything about the guy was exceptional.
It's frightening.
And he had this saga where he was going to join Chelsea, and there was a World Cup that summer, and I think the transfer was going through during the World Cup. And I watched the World Cup. He was awful, and everyone was watching the World Cup going, "Who the hell's this guy? Because this isn't the player we know." And he never recovered. It was like his form dipped and he just never... And a lot of people point to the fact, well, he still scored sort of like so many goals for Chelsea. It's like, yeah, and I got no doubt that if Dele played every single minute of every single week, Dele would still pick up a goal here and there. But he's not the same player. And Torres was never the same player. He just faded away. And sometimes that can happen. Players just have this burn fast and bright and then... whatever happens and they're not able to get it back. But then equally you do get players that seem to just vanish and then have a kind of resurgence towards the end of their career. Maybe in a couple of years' time Dele's going to look on fire again and we're all going to go, there he is.
But you know what, you'd even you look at some players, like I'm thinking of Dyer, for example. Like Dyer had some horrible injuries, didn't he? And then I remember Mourinho loved him. Mourinho wanted him to play, and he I think he said he wanted to take him to Man United. And I remember going to a few games, and Dyer was awful, and really awful, to the point where it was like, when you watch those testimonial games, some of them retired players, and you're like, he wouldn't look out of place playing in one of these games, but he just kept getting played 90 minutes, and he just found that again, and you wonder whether Dele, I know he hasn't had the injuries, but you wonder whether if he could find a club, maybe in the Championship, I don't know, just keep playing 90 minutes every single game, and then he might, like you say, that spark might come back.
It will click because the guy is a confidence player where he everything he tried came off. Like when he signed for us, he was 18 years old. I'm going to flick it over this guy's head. It worked. I'm going to hit a volley. I scored. It was just playground stuff. It was like watching Gaza again when Gaza first played for us. It was just... And then his ability to time runs, to arrive into the box, the header, Alderweireld ping passes, and Dele had run past the last man and volley it home. It was something else. It really was. And I think he, at the moment, not feeling confident, won't even try that stuff. But that's him. That's his game. The ability to do that. I remember when he was just re-emerging under Jose, and there was this game, I think it was West Ham, and he did this flick, like the ball was going out of play, and he managed to flick it back in, and he ended up scoring.
That's right, yep, I remember that at their ground,
And I remember seeing it, I was like, that's Dele all over. Like, no other player would have thought in that moment, I'm going to flick this ball like this. He's something else, and if he can find that again by playing week in, week out, someone's got a real player there. Whether it's Everton or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's strange. I it's such a strange situation there. But I mean, that's them. We smashed Newcastle 5-1. I'm just going to say that again because I think it needs to be said. And of course, that does have a big impact on the top four. As weekends go with results, that was pretty much as good as we could possibly have hoped.
Yeah.
We went into it behind Arsenal with a slightly poor goal difference, and we scored 5, so we got +4 from our game, and they lost 3-0, so they had a -3. What's that? A +7?
Seven goal swing, yeah.
You couldn't have asked for a better weekend for us. We now sit fourth. They do have a game in hand, but we now sit fourth and we play each other. So it's kind of, I said it before and I felt it and I still mean it. We win our games. It's us. It's in our hands, despite their game in hand. So it's going to be a real fight. And Sky TV have decided to shit on it for fans like they always do. And because they know it's going to be a real fight, they've moved a load of fixtures and kickoff times to make life friggin' difficult for everybody. I say Sky TV, this includes BT as well. So the week that we're playing Arsenal, we're playing them on a Thursday. And the game before is Liverpool. And we play Liverpool on the Saturday, and they've moved our game from the afternoon to the night time. So fans from Tottenham have got to travel up to Liverpool, and the last train home, quite literally, leaves before the game finishes.
Yeah, it's not on, is it?
It's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the consideration for fans in that? There's none. There's zero consideration. And yet, how long ago was it with, fans, you make football. Yeah. We miss having fans in the stadium. It's like, no, you don't.
It's funny because, we've got that ban. That's still, which seems so silly now. The 3:00 on the Saturday ban.
Yeah.
It was for the fans going to the games, but
Yeah.
it's almost like it's gone completely opposite now, isn't it? And it's all about the fans that watch it on the telly now, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, and I will say this: it is when you see the amount of money these TV companies pay. Yeah, of course they're going to dictate what works best for them. It's down to the league. You can be angry at Sky and you can be angry at BT, and that's fine, but they are paying an exponential amount of money, which enables this league to have some of the best players in the world earning the best wages and stuff for us to be entertained by it. So it is a balancing act, but I do think the Premier League, I do think the FA really do need to look at that and go, right, yeah, in the next TV deal, completely, you're paying top money for all of this, but we want something fan consideration. And because the funny thing is like if they companies agreed to it and went with it, they'd be popular,
Yeah, sure.
It's like, oh yeah, you're right, Sky TV, fans come first, kickoff times, or if a kickoff time has to be moved, Sky TV are going to subsidise travel, anything like that, which would be pennies for them, but real kind of gesture to everybody else. There's so many things that could be done, but right now they don't have to, so why would they?
No, absolutely. And do you know what? You can see how they can afford to give these clubs so much money. We come up, so I've had Sky for the last 4 years, and I always got the whole package. What I tend to do is when the package comes to an end, I'll phone them up, and normally if you go through to the retention team, they don't want you to
I
go.
want to quit the gym.
So they just throw loads and loads of discounts at you. And so 18 months ago, they threw so many discounts at me that I had literally the entire package, Sam, movies, Sky Sports, BT Sports, everything for 80 quid. So I got an email a couple of months ago, it's going to go up to 160. Right? So I phoned them up, retentions, not interested. We can knock it down to 145 if you like. No, you're right. So I've basically gone to Virgin now. I didn't want to because it's a pain changing everything over, but I've now just got because Virgin have got affiliation with BT Sports, they seem to be able to throw that in really cheaply. So I've just got like a basic TV package in BT Sports now, but I haven't got Sky Sports. But even with Virgin, if you had Sky Sports on, it's like 40 quid. And you think that's one person of all the millions of people watching it. No wonder they just got so much to throw at these clubs.
Mate, they rake it in. They rake it in from everyone. And they creep the prices up constantly. In the last 12 months, they put my price up twice. But they do it in like a couple of quid. So they're like, we've added £1 to Sky Movies. We've added £1 to this. We've added £1 to that. And we're doing all this great. We're doing all this, you're paying for this wonderful entertainment. I'm looking at it and I'm like, so basically, I was paying 100 odd quid a month. Now I'm paying 120 quid for nothing more.
Yeah.
Nothing has improved. Nothing has changed. I've not got a greater service. I've not got extra channels. You've literally just bumped the price up for what?
And you think if there's 20 million people with that subscription, times that 20 million by the 10 every month, another 100 odd million a month, isn't it? They've just made.
Yeah, well, these companies, you stick a quid on it and everyone will just swallow it, and they're right. They will. I did. But that extra £1 a month on 20 million subscribers,
20 million a month.
20 million quid. Yeah.
Let's throw some more at the football clubs.
Let's make sure we can get kick-off times whenever we want.
Yep, absolutely.
But anyway, it is time to head across to our social media because it's time to hear the points and the questions from fellow Tottenham fans.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
It's that time, it's that question again. Facebook or Instagram?
Let's go Facebook this week, Sam, shall we?
Facebook, we have 3. So I'll kick us off with Michael Jasper Annis, who says, has your opinion on Doherty changed since you last said he should leave?
Yes.
How's the Harry Kane total goals bet coming along?
Getting better.
Ooh. Okay, do you remember how many you said he'd get?
How many did I say?
No, I'm genuinely asking.
It was about 15, so I think I've won the bet there, Sam, haven't I?
15, jackass. I've got it written down.
Unless you can find it never happened.
Yeah, well, I'm going to find it. Yeah, I'm sure you said 25, but we'll come back to that. Yeah, the bet's... I'm not nervous. I still feel pretty safe about that bet, but I am going to have to find it because I wrote it down in sort of big stars next to it and kept it in my... I have a little folder for all things podcasty, and I'm going to find it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, my opinion on Doherty changed. Do you know what? This is an interesting one because there was a good few months ago, if I was selling players, he would have been the first to go.
100%.
Like, if someone came in and went, I will pay you what you paid for them, gone.
Yep,
Goodbye.
Yep.
It has been a rejuvenation, it's been a renaissance. He is playing in the role he knows now, which of course massively helps him. Now you can see he's confident again, and you cannot underestimate the impact that has on everybody in every walk of life, whatever job you're doing. Would I sell him today? No, probably not. If in the summer someone came along and was like, hey, I got one of the world's best right wing backs here, but I need Doherty in trade, I'd probably still say yes. But I don't know. It's difficult because you can get into these horrible situations where a player plays well for a few weeks and suddenly you forget the fact he's been crap for 2 seasons.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, 60 games of rubbish, 10 games of good doesn't ratio out. It doesn't quite iron it out yet. But right now, so based purely on where we are right now, absolutely not. I think as a right wing back, he offers everything that Conte wants to see. I think Royale is still struggling, and I still think that improving the wing backs could be something which would make us an even better side. But the thing with Doherty, and I think it's always worth keeping in mind from a squad point of view, is he came through the Wolves Academy, which means even though he's from the Republic of Ireland, he is classed as homegrown in the Premier League. So with the rules set around the squad building as it is for that, it's definitely worth him being there and being part of the setup. But you do need at least 2 good options at wing backs, I think, both sides. I think we have it on the left. I think Reguilon, I think Sessegnon does that for me personally.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the right, but Doherty being one of them now wouldn't be a problem for me like it was a few months ago.
It's just it's a confidence thing for him. I think, like we've said before, Mourinho and probably Dele destroyed a lot of players' confidence. Really destroyed it. There's a picture of I don't know if you've seen it, of Mourinho just staring coldly at Doherty, and Doherty just looks broken. And you look at the top hand corner, and we're winning the game 3-0, and it's like towards the end of the game, and he's giving this, and honestly, Doherty just looks like a broken man. You never see him smile. Now the guy looks like you say rejuvenated, like banging them in, right place, right time, wants to be there, wants the ball, running part. Honestly, it's confidence.
It's a different guy. Yeah. It's a different player. It's the player we all thought we signed.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, like, before he scored that goal, against Newcastle. The last time he scored at our stadium was against us for Wolves, and he used to bang them in for Wolves, didn't he? You know.
Yeah, but then again, he was playing wing back, whereas Mourinho had him as a fullback. Yeah. So, yeah, it is definitely a difference. And yeah, you're right, Michael. My opinion has changed. Yeah. Next one is Ryan Miller. Cuti Romero, discuss. He's unbelievable. What a brilliant signing. Best thing that happened to Tottenham since Spurs news. Nice, Ryan. Good boy.
Brownie points.
Seriously, what a player. I think that pretty much covered the discussion. Me and you had this chat just the other day. That performance of his against Newcastle, if we're singling people out, was on another level for me. He was immense. It was ridiculous how good he was.
Yeah, I messaged the group night. I think I did about 3 or 4 glasses of wine, so I was feeling a little bit tipsy.
You were feeling the love.
I just love honestly, it's that Dembele feeling. Yeah. You know, I just love the fact we have him, and like honestly, look, I really don't want to get carried away. I really don't, but I'm going to get carried away. Right?
Good man. Yes.
Virgil van Dijk level. This guy, Virgil van Dijk, he really is. Honestly,
he is. For me, he is definitely right there as some of the best defending I've seen. I did caveat it when we talked about it the other day, and I will say it on the podcast as well. There is moments in his game where I think he needs to just either concentrate, and Conte pointed out as well. It's like it's his concentration. It's not so much that his decision making. It's just if he stays focused, and if he does that, because his timing of every challenge, every interception against Newcastle was
it's like
unbelievable.
It's like he's got some special powers, isn't it? He can read the game so well. And what I love as well is you're watching it, and then you'll see like Kulusevski going down the wing or something, and then like who's the 2 guys up front? Romero again. It's like,
what's that about?
What's he doing up there?
He loves it. You could tell he just gets right into the game. Like, I'm going to go for it. Yeah, put it on my head.
But the thing is, the way Conte's set this up, he can do it because Højbjerg just falls back, doesn't he? He can do it.
And he is a talented player on the ball. He's confident on the ball. He likes the confrontation, which means that in the Premier League he's like a duck to water.
Yes.
The issue is constantly is the worry that the guy's a yellow card magnet. He really is, and it is a worry that the way he plays the game is so on the edge that once he's booked, you're like, oh no, it could be red, because that's his game, and you don't want to take that away from him. Like I wouldn't want him not to play the way he plays. I know a lot of other people that I talk to are always a bit like, oh, he didn't need to make that challenge. And you're right, there are times you look at it and you go, he didn't have to. I get the impression with him, and it's possibly defending in Italy for a few years, it's the attitude of, I didn't have to break the guy down, but I felt he needed to know that I'm here. You know, it's such an Italian defending mentality of, all right, you got past me last time. I'm not a fan of that. So next time you try, I'm going to break you. And that way, you have that little bit of fear. You have that little bit of like, oh no, do I want to try that again and get hurt? Yeah. But he's still, as a defender, he's still a year or 2 away from his peak. The guy, we bought him at like an amazing time. The upside there is phenomenal. You know, it really is. And that Newcastle performance was, for me, the most complete defensive performance I've seen. And again, someone put on Twitter, and it's like, could you imagine a beautiful scenario where Prime, Vertonghen and Alderweireld were in a 3 with Cuti Romero? Yeah, there you go.
And do you know what, Sam? It's not just the Newcastle game. Don't get me wrong. You're right. It was a complete performance. But every time I've seen him play recently, you know, like when I'm at the ground, I say to Seb, watch how good he is. And every single time he doesn't let me down. He's just the way he can read the ball.
He is really good.
It's fantastic. And it's for me, it's that almost that Ledley King kind of calm. Like, you know, he's got the 2 things that Ledley had, which is, he can read the game so naturally, and he's just such a calming influence. You don't feel stressed when he's there, and you do with some centre backs, don't you? But he doesn't give you that feeling. You just feel like, oh, Romero's got it, almost like the Dembele, you know. But as a centre back, as a centre back, you know.
Yeah, top player. So there you go, Ryan. We discussed Cuti. The final one from Facebook is Matthew Fleming, who says, "Is it just me who's starting to fall in love with this team? Their hard work is showing on the pitch, and it makes it so easy to cheer them on." I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's Tottenham. Of course I love them." But I know what you mean by this team. The Pochettino team,
yes.
I loved. Like, there are players coming in and out of it, but there was an affection for every single one of those players, which is still held to this day. Hence the way we talked about Ericsson and Dele earlier on, and Dembele, etc., for Tonga and Alderweireld. There is a real deep connection and feeling. I'm starting to. It's difficult. I'm starting to feel it is this weird kind of. I think because we had months of win one, lose one, I still have this kind of, I'm going to guard my emotions a little bit and not get carried away. I've been hurt before, everybody.
Yeah.
And
many times.
But the Newcastle game just felt so good. Watching them play that way. And don't let people diminish it either. Don't let people do that. It was Newcastle, because that's such a bull crap thing. In the Premier League, you beat a fellow Premier League side 5-1. You've done well. It doesn't matter how they played. You have played well, because in the Premier League, every team in that league is more than capable of 10 behind the ball and stopping you playing. And Newcastle tried, and we broke through them constantly, which is something we have struggled constantly with.
Yeah.
But the way this team have set up now, and the way they are confidently moving the ball, remember just a few weeks ago we surrendered possession constantly, and it was like counter-attack football, and I heard people going, "Oh, it's just Jose Mourinho 2.0," and I kept arguing it, saying it's not. This is so different. This is tactical. This is kind of, trust me, this is different. And now again, this team are more confident. We dominated the ball against Newcastle in this system, but anytime Newcastle came forward and they lost it, we went at them like fire. It was unbelievable. Like the pace in which we turn from defence into attack when we want to now must frighten teams to death.
Yeah, and also teams now know, like your Burnleys and teams like that,
Yeah.
no, they can't just do that, put 10 men behind them.
Block.
It's not going to work.
Newcastle went 1-0 up, and I thought this game's going to be hell. Man.
Yeah.
This game is going to be a nightmare. They're just going to pack their own box, and we're not going to be able to break them down. And it was a complete fallacy. We ripped through them, and the reason why we ripped through them is this system, is the fact that the players have all bought into it. Like you mentioned about Romero coming forward, the fact that Romero or Davies or Dyer do that on a regular basis overloads. They're defending, and they're like, "Well, bloody hell, Romero just ran past me." Who do I track, boss?
It's insane. He's actually quite comical seeing him up there. Like centre back,
he looks lost as well. He's got this look on his face of like, "I'm sure I should be based around here somewhere." I don't know. Yeah, I've been sent up here.
So far forward.
Yeah,
it's insane.
He loves it. Especially when we're really winning a game as well. Oh, I do just want to mention quickly on that 5-1, because not that I've talked about us beating Newcastle 5-1 enough or anything, was the Bergwijn coming off the bench, because the guy's just been electric for the Netherlands. He played 2 games, scored 3. Everyone's kind of like, we got to find a way for Bergwijn to get into it, and I think I said to you, it's like, well, this is the idea of having a squad.
Yeah.
Lucas has done nothing wrong, but Kulusevski is a level above. Bergwijn's done nothing wrong, but Sonny is a level above right now. And then we're watching a game where those two come on as subs with 10 minutes to go, and then Lucas sets up Bergwijn to score the 5th goal, and I'm like, hello, this is what it should be. Yep. This is. You want players that are going to go, right, well, if I'm on the bench, the minute I come on, I'm going to show you why I should start the next game. Affect the game. Yeah. And if you can create this, we are a squad. Regardless if you're starting on the pitch or you're starting on the bench, we are all in this together and we're all contributing together. You can really go far. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know where their futures are. I don't know whether in the summer they're going to want to play for a club that they start every week. And that's fine. But right now, our focus is purely on these last games. Having Bergwijn and Lucas, who are clearly ready. They are ready to come on. They are ready to impact and affect the game. And they are ready to start if they need to. It is such a bonus for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is, this is a message that came into Instagram. Lovely Laura sent it to me. It's a guy called Jack who says, "I know I'm jumping the gun a bit, but say Spurs manage to get fourth. Are you at all worried that Levy and Paratici will be complacent in what they'll feel the squad is good enough and not make significant moves in the summer? It feels like that's how Levy has acted in the past. Or do you think that they will support Conte as much as possible? I'm not sure either way. Thanks, guys. Hope all is well. I'm not too bad. Got a bit of a bug, I think. Got a cold coming, but thank you for asking. It's difficult, this, isn't it? Because we can look at this and go, Conte's been so clear. So clear. Status quo isn't good enough. The club need to back him in the summer because he wants to win something next season. And he ain't going to be able to do that with this squad. Regardless of the tune he's getting out of it, he needs a better set of instruments, you know? He's been so abundantly clear. Will that translate to action from our owners? Every part of you wants to go, well, obviously, why wouldn't they? But then you've got to put that with the fact that they've owned us for 20 odd years, and we have never done that, regardless of how good a manager's been. Harry Redknapp was right on the cusp of turning us into a title-winning side potentially, and they gave him dross to work with, and we fell away. Mauricio Pochettino got us to a Champions League final. He did everything on a shoestring budget compared to everyone else. And the minute where they had to back him or not, they fired him. You know? So you can't... They're a strange bunch with strange ideas. Their idea of showing ambition in that moment was to fire him and appoint a winner in Jose Mourinho. The club is still recovering from Jose Mourinho's dinosaur-like tactics and dinosaur-like training methods. There are players in our squad who are still not as fit as they were because of that crap, and they just haven't been able to adjust and sort themselves out. Right now, everything's in place. One of the best managers in the world, one of the best players in the world, the best stadium in the world, one of the best training facilities in the world. Literally, you've got everything to invest and go, now win stuff, because that's the monkey on our back. That is literally it. Everyone who's a Tottenham fan knows that every time we have a conversation about Tottenham and trying to push on, every other fan from every other club, which is ridiculous, trophy dodgers. It's like, alright, whatever. Okay, fine. We haven't won anything in a while. Boo-hoo. Nor of Wrexham, but you seem to be giving me shit. I don't quite know where that's come from. But and that's it. And it is the monkey on the club's back, because once that's gone, no one can say crap, really. The club are then moving forward, and Conte is the kind of guy who, you know, you get the impression if Jose had won that League Cup, he'd have left Tottenham as a smug bastard. I want a trophy. Yeah. I get the impression with Conte lifts a trophy, he goes, right, now next one. Yeah. Now we do that again. Now that's 2. Now we need the 3. Now we need to finish the season with 4. Okay, now we won all 4, we're going to be the first team to retain all 4, you know?
And also as well, you get the feeling with Conte that, don't get me wrong, like, you know, as a human being, everyone has ego, so there's going to be an element of him wanting to win it for his of course, his reputation. But you know, if he wins something, and this might be just me being naive, but I get the impression from what you see and what you hear and what I observe of him, that if we were to win a trophy, that's for you guys. I've won that. That's our trophy. Like for us, for the fans, for the players. Mourinho walks away. That's what I won. That's what I won. Yeah. You know.
It's interesting you say that, actually, because language can give people away. Jose talks about the trophies he's won in his career. Conte talks about the trophies the clubs have won under his management.
There you go, Sam. That
is a significant difference. And he does talk about, in an interview a couple of weeks ago, about how the Tottenham fans have given him more love than he could have possibly imagined. And he said he felt unworthy of that. It's like, you guys have just been great to me from the start, and I feel like I've done nothing to earn that. But the thing is,
we're not mugs, and we know. No. And I've said this before. We know with Conte that he's like, this is a guy that's got the reputation, and he's putting his heart and soul into doing this. You know, you can see, like, you know, the way he sulks after we lose, the way he goes mental when we score. he's almost like he's become.
He's living every minute.
Yeah, it's like he had before he joined us. He had absolutely zero association with Tottenham Hotspur, but now he's like a die-hard Tottenham fan, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think without a shadow of a doubt, the guy, if he takes a job, he's all in. You know, I think he is all in, and I think as a Tottenham fan, I think I'm under no illusions that if and when he goes, he's with another club, he'd be all in there as well. I think that's him. He has to have that, and I think one of the key reasons perhaps he didn't join us in the summer is he didn't feel it. You know, he didn't feel that kind of. No, you know, I want this money, I want this, and there was the argument about player signings and stuff, and I think he looked at it and went, yeah, I don't feel that passion at all, I can't. And then when we came back around, he'd been out of the game for a bit longer, and I think he looked at it and he went, yeah,
let's have this.
Yeah, let's have this. I can feel this again. And he did, you know, from day one he's come in and just been fired up.
Yeah.
Is an understatement. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, you watch Conte Cam for the 5 goals against Newcastle.
Love it.
And you watch the 5th goal. Bergwijn goes in. He is smiling and pointing to his bench because he wants all of them because he knows he's about to score. He is confident. He loves this team now. You can see it. And then he hits the back of the net and he goes mental. Poor Ryan Mason must catch Antonio Conte 4 or 5 times. I mean, his base must just be solid as hell now. His core muscles. Yeah, good old Mace. What did you do as a coach while I caught the manager who tried to launch himself into us?
Did you see, just as Bergwijn, have you seen the picture, just as Bergwijn was about to put it in the back of the net?
Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny smiling.
Yeah, I posted it.
Oh, you see the
Facebook, yeah. So someone sent it in to us, and I was like, yeah, that's brilliant, that's going on the page. Okay, so to finish this off then, again from Instagram, it's the Johnny Stark. Johnny, I think I've got to the point now, mate, where you need your own intro, but you're not like a mountain man, or you're not Island Brother. By the way, mountain man, Island Brother, where's the love? Where are the comments? Where are the questions? Miss you guys. Where are you? You know, when things are bad, you're right there telling everyone it's wrong. Come on, we won 5-1. Bring the love, guys. But yeah, the Johnny Stark. I don't know. I still think he sounds like. It could be like a real 90s DJ, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Johnny Stark Show. Yeah. Loved. Johnny Stark's from America, by the way. I've chatted to him a lot. He's a really great guy. So me doing a British 90s cheesy DJ is probably about the furthest away you could be from him. But it does sound like one. So he says, number 1, how high are your hopes right now? Very high.
Yep.
Matt, okay.
Ding,
yeah. Far too high, to be honest with you. Number 2, how are you feeling about the Harry Kane goal tally bet? I'm still feeling good. Matt, how are you feeling?
I am. Do you know what? I don't think he's going to get as many as I said. But do you know what? Yeah. This is a good segue to me get.
Are you going to tell me it's a moral victory?
No. I was gonna get in because I don't do my. I very rarely do my match stats anymore, didn't I? But I wanted to squeeze in on this day, if you don't mind, regarding Harry Kane. So on this day, the 7th of April 2014, so 8 long years ago, Harry Kane scored his first Premier League goal for Tottenham. Do you know that?
Wow.
And also, it was in a 5-1 win as well against Sunderland.
Nah, that's funny. I did not know that.
8 years ago.
Against Sunderland?
Yeah, 5-1 in a 5-1.
We love whooping them boys. Yeah. North East, get your ass kicked at Tottenham, baby. Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to get the amount, I guess. But look, the difference between Harry Kane's second half of the season and Harry Kane first half of the season, it's been phenomenal, the change, isn't it?
In there, yeah. It's like Matt Doherty level, yeah. Okay, so the next one I've got here is, should the physios just sit Skip for the rest of the season as a precaution? It seems like every time he's about to go, he aggravates this injury. The Oliver Skip situation is an interesting one. I love Skippy, and it worries me that this injury seems to be persisting, and I've talked a lot about, is it now a mental thing and stuff like that. The press have confirmed he's still experiencing pain. I don't think you want to make it known or possibly tell the young player who's a very competitive, driven footballer, do you know what, mate, just take 8 weeks off. I think he would climb the freaking walls. I think you want him trying to come back. But at the same time, I want the club to be looking at his long-term health, because he has got 10 years at the heart of our midfield ahead of him. He really is that good and will continue to just be that good for us. I know he will. That if he has to miss the next run of games, then he has to miss the next run of games. It's going to be Bentancur and Højbjerg are bringing the best out of each other right now. Winksy came on, and you could tell in a confident side he looks like himself. I wouldn't want him coming on to try and change a game, definitely. But Winksy can fill that role, definitely, until the end of the season. Skip, if we can avoid him hurting himself longer term, then yeah, I wouldn't be against it, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to discourage him now. I mean, he is such a driven little sod. He's not little either, but he is so little in terms of age, let's say. He is such a driven, focused player that you'd want him to just be focusing on coming back. And Conte loves him, absolutely wants him in this side, in squad. And Skip must be frustrated as hell. But yeah, it's a valid point, and I think as fans, short term missing him for 8 games but having him for 10 years is definitely the trade I'd make, without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, mate, that's it. Next up is Aston Villa away, which is the Laura Derby, as I call it, because her other half is a Villa fan. So that's going to be a tough day for her. potentially a tough day for her. And of course, if Villa win, I don't talk to her for a week out of sheer anger and pettiness. So yeah, it's a joy for her working with me day in, day out on Spurs news. You can tell that sometimes I say stuff to her, and I can almost feel the sense of, why did I ever say I'd join this bunch of idiots to do this? Bless her. So I could promote her only. Anyway, not allowed to do that. Not allowed to promote that anymore. But anyway, mate, that's it. That's just wrapped. Villa away. How you feeling? Does Seb have a prediction? Because Seb's last game, he said we win 4-0. It was a 4-goal margin. So I'm still thinking Mystic Seb has a role to play. I need to know what he thinks about the Villa game.
Yeah, I did ask him yesterday, actually. He said 3-1. He thinks 3-1.
To Spurs, yeah, okay, 3-1. So that's a 2-goal win. I'm going to place a bet, £1, that we win by 2 goals in some capacity, because I think Mystic Seb might not get the scoreline exact, but he's getting the margin.
He's feeling something. He's getting some vibes, isn't he?
Yeah. So Seb, Mystic Seb, who, by the way, if he wants to record his predictions, I have got a Mystic Seb intro and outro.
Right. Next week we'll get him on it.
Genuinely done it.
He'd love that. We'll get him on next week, Sam.
Right. Remind me and I'll send it to you, and you can play it to him.
Cool.
Mystic Seb. Mystic Seb.
Love
dun,
it.
dun, dun.
Love that. You'll love that.
But yeah, so everyone, thank you so much for being with us and listening. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We will be back next week to talk all things Tottenham Hotspur. One of the things we're going to be planning or trying to work out logistics is what we're going to do about that Arsenal game. Arsenal game's a Thursday night. It would probably make sense for us to maybe record the show on the Friday. But I don't know. So we're going to think about that. Maybe there's a Thursday and a Friday show that week, and on the Thursday we grab a Gooner on with us. But we'll see. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I might be too tense and stressed. We'll have to wait and see how the other results are. Maybe it'll be concluded by then. Who knows?
Yeah.
But until then, everybody, you take care. We'll be back soon.
Take care, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.